What's going on, guys? Greek Freak here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the NBA rumor, which is a very hard of a stretch, but the trade of Jimmy Butler to the San Antonio Spurs, and most likely for a trade of that magnitude, you're probably talking about a Kawhi trade. So before I get into this video, just a reminder for you guys, in order to be notified of my videos, to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get all notifications, since this is the NBA offseason and breaking news will be coming most likely in the future. So with this, we're talking about Jimmy Butler, who's obviously been openly stating and showing frustrations that he does not look to be like he's going to sign an extension with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now with that, many people obviously have to go with people who want to leave teams with, should you trade them off in that last season, or do you take the chance on swaying them to stay for another year? Now, if you try to go for that, obviously you're at the risk of letting them walk away with nothing in return for that player. Obviously, Minnesota was en route for being one of the most surprised teams as far as how young they were. Now, last year, 2 years ago, they did not make the playoffs despite having their new coach, Tom Thibodeau. But Tom Thibodeau, also GM of their team, also brought in Jimmy Butler and a few veterans in order to improve the team. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, what many people may forget is very much before Jimmy Butler went down with the meniscus injury, the Minnesota Timberwolves were the third team in the Western Conference standings. And once he went down, they started losing once again. So, obviously, this shows the fact that not only that, he's very important to the team, as he had to rush to come back, and they barely made the playoffs by one game in a winner-takes-all against the Denver Nuggets. Now, as we all know, he's obviously an important player, great two-way player, and it just shows the fact that this young group of people, which Tom Thibodeau's known for not working really well with younger team players, as he likes the veteran attitude, and Jimmy Butler obviously stated the fact he doesn't like the attitude of the younger players there. Now, as far as what Jimmy Butler would like to do, I would not take the risk if I was the San Antonio Spurs. Well, I would take that risk maybe. But it's such a small chances here, because I know Jimmy Butler, the same reason why there were many conversations of why we know that he didn't leave the Chicago Bulls the first time that he had the opportunity, was because of the fact that he wanted to play for a big market and have a team for his own. Now, he would have the team for his own there in San Antonio, but once again, you're talking about a very competitive East. You're talking about a team that does not like too much of a marketing as far as their players, their attitudes, things like such as that. And you're talking about a market that obviously is not a huge market as far as marketability. So I would think the fact that Jimmy Butler is looking for an Eastern Conference team, most likely a big market team is in New York, Miami, or Chicago, or Boston, when it comes to a big marketing of your brand. But for the San Antonio Spurs, we're obviously going to look into this trade now. Obviously, we know the situation with Kawhi and how terrible it's gotten. So if you put Kawhi Leonard onto the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think the fact that that does improve the team, as Kawhi Leonard is a better player, I feel like, than Jimmy Butler as far as a complete game. His defense is just phenomenal as far as his ability, as he's won 2 Defensive Player of the Years in the last 3 years. So, well, in the last 4 years now. But with that, we have to look at just the level of difference. Now, obviously, the Minnesota Timberwolves would be in the same situation with a Kawhi Leonard, which is why I'm amazed that this rumor sort of has popped up. But with that, the San Antonio Spurs could probably try to sway Jimmy Butler to go there. But as I said, I just don't see this trade really happening. I saw it, thought it was very interesting of an idea. I think the fact that if both players stayed where they were, I would think the fact that they would be both very much interesting sort of teams. That we know what Jimmy Butler's done as far as on his own. I feel like he would need a little bit more. But obviously with the Spurs, they have a great or organization that knows how to draft players. And I think the fact that it's key that they obviously know how to get very great players later in the draft, so they don't have to be this tanking team like many others do. But guys, tell me what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think the fact that this is an actual possible trade, or do you think the fact that both of these players will be guaranteedly gone in the next season before the season completely ends? Do you think that they'll be on a different team? And if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to become part of Greek Army today. And as always, this is Sparta.